I had to restart it over. Restart. Smile.
It's a bug in here.
Was a brave firefighter who died, funeral yesterday, shielding his wife and daughters from bullets. He shielded them from the bullets of this horrendous person. Corey was a hero, and we will carry his memory in our hearts for all time. Great hero. That's great. And he was a big trumper, and we will never forget him, right? We're all together. We're all together. There's never been anything like what you witnessed the other day with the convention. I don't think there's ever been a convention where there was such unity and love, and even now I'll say just for a second, the fake news even said it that way. I want to be nice, but the fake news reported it correctly. There's never been such unity, and everybody did a great job, and the speeches and everything. It was just an incredible event. And I'll tell you what, Milwaukee was a fantastic place. This was a beautiful arena, and they did a really great job. And Wisconsin is going to vote for us because we spent $250 million. And when they go into the voting booth, they're going to say, we love this guy Trump. He gave us $250 million with jobs, and they're going to vote it. Wisconsin's a very important state, as we know. But they really did. Wisconsin did a great job. Milwaukee, they did a great job, and the arena was fantastic. And it was just love. It was like a big, beautiful 4-day love fest. There was no fight. You know, there was no fight, no screams, no shouting. No, get that guy off the platform. And in case there was, we had the Hulkster with us, right? How good was he? How good was the Hulkster? And Kid Rock called, he said, I want to get, Kid Rock is big, and he wanted to get down, and he did an unbelievable job. He was great. But all of them, everybody. We had so many great people there. It was really an amazing thing to see, and it was really something I don't think there's ever been. A lot of people report. I think it's either party, there's never been anything like it. And now we have something coming up where they're going to go for the convention, and they have a couple of problems. Number one, they have no idea who their candidate is, and neither do we. That's a problem. But we'll see. Hopefully they get it worked out. Sort of interesting, this guy goes and he gets the votes, and now they want to take it away. That's democracy. They talk about democracy. Let's take it away from them. But now we go forward as one movement, and really we have a very special group of people, like the people here. You people built this country. It's one movement, and we're more united, determined than ever before. We've never been so determined. Bad things happened last time. We're not going to let them happen this time. Bad things happen. We will never stop working to deliver a magnificent future for our people, and together we will fight, right? And we will win. Right. Thank you. I like this place. You ever walk in to a place and you say, I sort of like this place.
BK's new fiery menu, 5 items, 5 levels, so you can do you. Level 1.
Less than 4 months from now, we are going to win Michigan. We are going to take back the White House in a monumental landslide. And with your help, we are going to make America great again. Right? At our convention on just a little while ago in Milwaukee on Thursday, it was my tremendous honor to officially accept the Republican nomination for President of the United States. And I used to say it in 2016, and I meant it 100%, but I mean it even more now because this country has gone wrong. We're a failing nation. We're really a left-at failing nation right now. This will be the most important election in the history of our country. This is going to be the most important election. We cannot let it slip by. We cannot let people cheat. We cannot let this slip by, or we're not going to have a country. Because I do have other things I could be doing. It would be a lot easier. Although I'd rather be with you than sitting on some gorgeous beach watching boring waves coming in. No, I would rather be. Actually, I would. You know that. I think that's one of the reasons we've been so successful together. You know I mean that too. But we're going to make our country more successful than ever before. Yet even as we gather this evening, we will, and take a look, still, the Democratic nominee, we're going to find out shortly, maybe, I don't know. Let's do this. Let's do a poll. You know, I love doing polls, right? Like I do a poll, I do lots of polls, like, do you like Make America Great Again, or do you like America First, or do you like them both? I like them both, right? But let's do a poll on candidates, ready? So I'll go, we're going to do a poll on a few candidates. The press will like this because they won't have to pay for the poll. You know, you do these crazy polls and they charge you $250. And look, there's Mr. Wall. This guy is the greatest guy. This guy. He must have a lot of money because he's at so many different rallies. And he was at the one, that was a tough one, wasn't he? That was something. You were right up in the front too. You saw that. That was something. We're going to do a poll, and it's going to be a very nice poll. And right? Who's your favorite candidate? Who would you like? Let's do it. Who would you most like to run against? Because, you know, you could say, who's the best candidate? We're saying, who would you like to? We'll start with Kamala Harris, and then we'll go to crooked Joe Biden, and then we could possibly discuss a few. So who would you like to most run against if you're us, if we want to win? Ready? Kamala Harris, crooked Joe Biden. All right. I don't think we have to go too much further. Well, you have a terrible governor here who did a terrible job. Whitman. I'd like to run against her, actually. I'd like to run against her. So she's one of the 20 that I mentioned. She's the one that gave her husband full right, title, and interest to everything, but nobody else could do anything but her husband. Her husband was sailing in the middle of your lake, your beautiful lake. He's out there sailing, and everybody else had to be locked up, right? Her husband. No, but things like that are mentioned during a campaign, little things like that. No, she's done a terrible job, but I hope I'd be very happy with her. At this very moment, Democrat Party bosses are frantically trying to overthrow the results of their own party's primaries to dump crooked Joe Biden from the ballot. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy. And as you're seeing, the Democrat Party is not the party of democracy. They're really the enemies of democracy. The parties of corrupt insiders like Whitmer, special interests, and the failed political class. That's what they are. Under our leadership, the Republican Party is now the party of the people. We're the party of hardworking Americans of every race, religion, color, and creed. We've become a very big party. We've become, right, fellas? You know what I'm talking about. I love you guys. We love you guys. No, we become a very big party. We have increased in size. Nobody's ever, honestly, in history, there's never been anything like this movement. And that may be in the history of the world, but let's keep it down to the country for right now, because that's the thing. But there's never been anything like MAGA. When Biden says, we have to stop MAGA, we will stop MAGA. I said, he doesn't know what MAGA stands for. It stands for Make America Great Again. How can you be against that? How can you be against it? And you know, the other side's going around trying to make me sound extreme, like I'm an extremist. I'm not. I'm a person with great common sense. I'm not an extremist at all. Like some on the right, severe right, came up with this Project 25, and I don't even know. I mean, some of them I know who they are, but they're very, very conservative, just like you have. They're sort of the opposite of the radical left, okay? You have the radical left and you have the radical right, and they come up with this, I don't know what the hell it is, it's Project 25. He's involved in Project, and then they read some of the things and they are extreme. I mean, they're seriously extreme. But I don't know anything about it. I don't want to know anything about it. But what they do is misinformation and disinformation, and they keep saying, he's a threat to democracy. I'm saying, what the hell did I do for democracy? Last week, I took a bullet for democracy. What did I do against democracy? Crazy. Hello, Chris. Here's our great campaign man. Chris, are you having a good time? Look at him. He's back there, cool as a cucumber. You know, so far they're giving us great credit for the best run campaign they've seen in years. Isn't that nice? Thank you, Susie. Thank you, Chris. Look how cool he is. Just sits there. Thanks, Ed. Try doing it with another candidate sometime. That gets tough, right? Anyway, thank you very much. Great job, Chris, Susie, the whole group. We have a great group of people. They love this country. They want to save the country. That's what we're doing. With your vote in this election, the Trump-Vance administration, by the way, I made the right pick. He's so good. They were all good. They were all good. But he's really stepped up. But the Trump-Vance administration will begin rapidly reversing every single Biden-Harris disaster starting on day one. And when you vote for Biden, you're probably voting indirectly for Harris anyway, whether you like it or not. It's common sense. It's all common sense, right? We will end the inflation nightmare that you would have never had. We had no inflation. See, there's another thing. Biden always goes, I inherited 9% inflation. And even the radical left reporters up there, look at all of them. Whoa, they have a lot. They have a lot of them. They have a lot of them. Look at those cameras. But they'll start turning off as soon as I start mentioning certain things. I'll say, the red light just went off. No, but actually the radical left reporters, of which there are quite a few, I can't believe it. I don't know why they'd have them. But the radical left reporters say, the guy's right. You know, it wasn't until 2 years in that we became destroyed with inflation. Inflation is a country buster. It's a class buster. It busts everything. Low income, middle income especially, and they get they're busted. The country gets busted. Look at Germany from centuries ago. Look at every country that's had inflation. And we had, I believe, the greatest inflation in the history of our country. They don't even report it properly because they leave the worst numbers out. They don't talk about interest rates that went to 10, 11, 12%, and you can't get the money. So what does that mean, 12% if you can't get the money? It means it's higher from 2%. We will seal the border and we will stop this terrible invasion that's destroying our country. We will crush migrant crime. We're going to crush migrant crime. Oh, we have a new form of crime now. It's called migrant crime. The only good thing about these migrants coming in is they make our gang members and criminals look like the nicest people you've ever met. These people are much tougher. They come from all over the world, not just from South America. We're going to return law and order to our streets and restore patriotism to our schools. We gave you already the largest tax cut in the history of our country, larger than the Reagan cuts, but now we will give you an additional tax cut, a number of tax cuts that will make it. We took in more money after the tax cuts than we did prior. We took in billions and billions of dollars more after the tax cuts than we did. We had the greatest economy in the history of our country. Everyone knows it. We're going to slash regulations. That's what created all of those jobs.
Introducing rewards from Sling, where you can win $10,000 in monthly cash and prizes. Sling lets you do that.
You need parts? We got parts. Product availability.
And gave them bounce back jobs. You know, they're called bounce back jobs. After COVID, they bounce back. Everybody knows that. When you have something like COVID, which rarely happens, but when you have something like that, they're called bounce back jobs. And we're going to bring down energy prices very rapidly. It was energy that caused the problem and their stupidity. And we're going to bring it down very quickly. Your energy bills will be cut in half, at least be cut in half. Some sections, like in New England, I'll be able to cut their energy by 60, 70%. It's absolutely crazy what has happened with energy. We buy the oil from Venezuela. They used to be our enemy. I don't know. We buy from Venezuela. It's not really oil, it's tar. And you know, there's only one refinery in the world that can do it. It's very heavy, horrible stuff. It's garbage. It's tar. You lift it. I said, that's not oil. We want light, sweet, crude. We have the best oil. We have the best everything. We go to Venezuela. You know where they refine it? In Houston, Texas. It's the only plant in the world that can refine that stuff. So we go to Venezuela. We pay them a fortune. We take that dictatorship. We make the dictatorship wealthy. These people don't know what the hell they're doing. They're incompetent. They're grossly incompetent. The biggest threat is because we have incompetent. That's the threat to democracy. It's the threat to our country. We have incompetent people leading our country, grossly incompetent people. America's enemies will fear us. The United States will again command the respect that it deserves. Viktor Orban, the very powerful leader of Hungary, said, when asked what happened with the world that's falling to pieces, there are wars all over, he said, bring back Trump, it'll all end. It all ended. We had no problem in the world. And something beautiful is going to happen because we will bring back the American dream, and it'll be bigger, better, and bolder than ever before. Right? And most importantly, for the people of this great state, you know, years ago, they gave me in Michigan the Man of the Year. That was long before I was a politician. I was a business guy, I did well, I liked the state, but I don't know, I heard Man of the Year, Michigan. I said, that's cool, that's good. I'm going to make that trip. I didn't know why they were giving it to me, nothing, but they were giving it to me for, I guess, the fact that I employed a lot of people. I did real well. This is probably 14 years ago. And I came in and I said, why do you allow foreign countries like Mexico? You know, Mexico's, we think of them as friendly, but they haven't been too friendly lately. How about when they asked Biden to meet, just to meet? They want $2 billion to meet. They wouldn't ask that. See, they wouldn't even ask me that because I'd say, I will put 100% tariffs on everything you send into a country if you even think about asking. They want $2 billion to meet. In other words, we won't meet with you unless you pay us $2 billion. And this is every single year. They want $2 billion. No, it works the opposite of that, the exact opposite. But you know, when you see the things that are happening to our country, and all you have to do is know how to speak. When I watched the way our border was handled, we had the best border, the safest border, the border that saved my life. You know, I was pointing to an immigration border sign when I made this turn, and that thing went that way instead of that way. So I owe immigration my life. It's true. It's true. Now think about it. I'm talking thousands and thousands, much more than even this. I mean, we're restricted because you're in this giant arena. That's the one thing about outdoor that's good. You can have unlimited, thousands and thousands as far as the eye can see. Nobody's over here or over here because there's nobody there. It starts like this, as far as the eye can see. And I said, look at the great results that we had on immigration. Just look at them. If I didn't say that, and it's because we had like a crane holding this massive sign, I call it the $1 million sign, that they're expensive. But that sign was very good. I think I'm going to sleep with it tonight. Go to sleep with it tonight. I said, what was that? What was that? Whew. Then I looked, I said, that's not good. That's not good. So it's immigration, if you think about it, right? Immigration, I would have never been looking to the right, and I had to be. It was the only place that would have saved us. They do these reports in the New York Times and all over the place where they had, the shape, if he turns this way, this way, this way. And every shot was no good for me except for the one direct. It came whizzing by, and I hope we have to never go through that again, everybody, because it's so horrible. But most importantly, for the people of your state, this great state, I will rescue the U.S. auto industry from obliteration. They're going to obliterate your auto industry. And anybody that votes for the head of the United Auto Workers, that guy doesn't know what he's doing. He's approved all electric cars. And Elon, I love Elon Musk. Do we love him? I love him. And I'm constantly talking about electric cars, but I don't mean I'm totally for them, but whatever the market says, and if it's 10% of the market, 12%, 7%, 20%, whatever it is, it's okay.
Why haven't you? Yeah, it's strange. Of course they say I changed, but I think they talk.
But you can't have 100% electric cars. And so Elon endorsed me recently, the other day, actually. He's great. Elon Musk. He's a brilliant guy. Every time I call him, he's talking about, I got a new idea for a rocket. You have to hear this? No, it's true. The first time I ever saw this, I'm watching television like 3 years ago, and I see a rocket motor engine, come down landing, straight up in no wings, no nothing, and it's landing. And I thought I was seeing things. What is that? And it's landing on a barge in the middle of the ocean. And then another one comes down, and another one, I guess 4 of them came down, 3 or 4, and they land upright. I said, what the hell was that? I've never seen that before. Now, if that were government, you wouldn't see that for another 50 to 100 years. But it was Elon. Now, think of that. And I called him, and I've always had a good relationship with him, but I called him and I said, what was that? He said, well, we saved the engines. We saved the engines because it's very expensive to build. So, it didn't take me long to figure that if you save them, that's good, but who the hell thought you could do that? No wings, no nothing, just like these big, long, massive tubes, and they're landing gently right on the dot. And he said, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen. And you say, how long would it take government to come up with that one? I don't think they ever heard of it. Perhaps they still haven't heard of it. But, he's a very advanced person, and he's doing other things that are great, and so are others. We have to make life good for our smart people, We have some smart people. We have to make life good for our smart people. And he's as smart as you get. But Elon endorsed me the other day, and I didn't even know this. He didn't even tell me about it. But he gives me $45 million a month. A month. Not 45 million. Gives me 45 million a month. And I talked to him just a little while ago to say I was coming here, how you doing? And he didn't even mention it. He didn't mention. Other guys, they give you $2 and you got to take them to lunch. You got to wine them, dine them. No, he's a great guy, he really is. But, he's never mentioned to me, why are you hitting the electric cars? Because he understands I'm not hitting it. I think it's incredible. I've had them, I've driven them, they're incredible. But they're not for everybody. Some people have to drive long distances. And they tend to be more expensive. And, they'll probably be made in China because China has all of that material. Oh, there's the guy that I stood up here. Are you the same guy, the same muscles? Look at that guy. Are you the same guy? Yes? No kidding. It's pretty good memory, right? Unlike somebody else that I happened to be running against. He wouldn't. Come on up here. Get up here. I got to get this guy. This guy was central casting. Look at him. Look, oh, I think he was standing on a box. That was the only thing. I said, you got to come on up here. Don't hurt yourself. Can you get him up? I like this guy. He's a serious union guy, a United Auto Workers. You look at him get over there. It's okay. He does not carry guns. He's not, come on up here. Look at him. Look at his shape he's in.
I'm glad to see you. I'm glad to see you. I'm glad to see this guy. I told you we're going to get 85 million of us out there to vote for him. So let's go home from this rally and do our part.
Look at the arms on him. I may have height, but his arms are definitely more powerful, huh? Look at that guy. No, last time I was here, I saw him and he was so great, and he was agreeing with us on auto. We want to bring car manufacturing back, and what the deal with this thing with the all-electric cars in 6 years from now? It's ridiculous. You know, in the Midwest, they open up chargers. They opened up 8 chargers. You read about this. $9 billion they spent for 8 chargers. That's like a gas pump. I guess it would be like the equivalent of a gas pump for electric, right? They spent $9 billion on 8 chargers. This is 8 little chargers. $9 billion. How do you do that? It would cost at that rate $5 trillion to create enough chargers so it could run. It doesn't work. And it doesn't work the trucks either. I was with Swift, big Swift company. How many trucks are you on? 29,000, sir. 29,000? That's a lot of trucks. One of the biggest, I guess like the biggest. I think he's the biggest, right? And he said, they want to destroy our business. They want us to go all electric. I said, so what's wrong with electric? I said, if you take a big, beautiful, like Peterbilt or one of the great manufacturers, how many times would you have to stop from New York to Los Angeles? None, sir. We go right there. We have some left over. You're like, that's with diesel. I said, what about if it's electric? We have 6 to 7 stops, about 3 hours each. So immediately he's saying, that's not working too well. He said, but there are other problems. He said, the truck is so much heavier that you'd have to rebuild every bridge in the country. That doesn't sound too good, right? And then the third thing, he said that the battery is so much bigger than a tank, a big tank for the diesel, for the gasoline, but the diesel mostly. It's so much bigger that most of our payload would be holding batteries. In other words, we wouldn't have any room for the product. So let's say you hear those 3 minor details. Typically, you would end the conversation, would say that doesn't work. These people said, we don't care, we want you to go all electric. Can you believe these people? They're crazy. They're crazy. No, they're crazy. And they want boats to do the same thing. I was with in South Carolina, one of the biggest boat manufacturers of, smaller fishing boats from, let's say, 16 to 35 feet. And he said, we have a problem. They keep pushing, the beautiful outboard engines. You have Mercury and Evinrude, I guess they used to have. I don't know if they have it anymore. But those big, beautiful outboard engines they have, they work great. Or just interior engines run by a thing called gasoline. So he said they want us to figure out how to go all electric in a boat, right? All electric. I said, well, what is the problem? He said, we'd have to take the entire lower cabin where we have bedrooms, and we'd have to make that into a battery. But the bigger problem is, sir, it won't float because it's it won't float. It won't float. And I always tell the story with like, well, what would you do? Because, my uncle was a great professor at MIT for 41 years, I think. He was the longest serving Dr. John Trump, she knows. He was very, very smart. We have a very smart family, actually. But he was a great guy, and I always thought I was very interested in this, but the press kills me all the time. They say, he keeps talking about sharks and this. I don't. I tell an analogy. If I'm in a boat, it's all electric, and it starts to sink. I asked the guy, do you get electrocuted sitting over this? And then I say, and I don't think there's anything wrong with this, do you? Because it's an analogy. I say, And if there's a shark about 10 yards away, right where they are, right where all the congressmen are, right over there, look at us. Well, there's sharks. There's sharks. If there's a shark about 10 yards away, do I get electrocuted or do I go with the shark? I said, because I will take electrocution all day long. Despite the environmentalists that say how wonderful sharks are. You ever hear these people? We had 3 killings by a shark this weekend, ripped people apart, and then you have the environmentalists going, well, they didn't mean to do it. They mistook them for a seal. They didn't want to hurt the child. No, I don't want that. Common sense, right? I mean, how about they catch a shark, vicious that they've been after, and they take him to a little deeper water and they put him back in? I wouldn't do that. Would anybody do that here? Let me ask you, this is Michigan. These guys wouldn't do it. But they always get on me, they say, why is he talking about electricity and sharks? What do they have? Well, they know exactly. It's sort of a cute little story. Do I take electrocution or do I take death by a shark? And I'll always take electrocution. But isn't it ridiculous? Think of it, isn't it ridiculous? They want to make a boat that's far too heavy, that can barely float, and they're driving people out of business. They're destroying this country. They're stupidly destroying this country. The Army tanks are the other one. They want to make all electric. We make the best tanks in the world. They want to have them. So that as we go into a country to bomb the hell out of it, we will do it in an environmentally friendly way. Okay? And you know, with an Army tank, again, the battery's very big, very heavy, and doesn't last long. You know what it is? It's an Army tank, and it's like you're pulling a wagon behind the Army tank. You're pulling a wagon like a child pulls a wagon, and it's loaded up with a battery. So we got to get back to common sense. The aircraft, too. They want to make our jet fighters a biofuel jet fighter that shows 18% less efficiency. That's the difference between winning and losing a fight. And you know what happens? I say, I'm not doing it, and we ended all of that stuff. They brought it back. We will end it on day 1. We're not going to be doing that stuff, okay? In 4 short years under my leadership, I did more for Michigan auto workers and manufacturers than any president in the history of our country. And just as I promised, I withdrew from the Trans-Pacific Partnership, which would have totally destroyed your auto industry. I ended the disaster known as NAFTA. That was the worst trade deal ever made. That was the worst trade deal considered by him. That was so unfair to us with Mexico and Canada. The worst trade deal ever made, and replaced it with what they call the best trade deal ever made, the USMCA, Mexico and Canada. And I know it's good because Mexico and Canada are right now, as we speak, working like hell to try and renegotiate the deal. Don't do it, Biden. Well, he doesn't know what's going on. Don't do it. He's watching us now. He'll say, what's that trade deal they're talking about? Well, sir, they've been negotiating with us for about 2 years. I never heard of that negotiation. Where is Mexico anyway? Where is it? See, now the fake news will take the statement I just say, where is Mexico? And they'll put it on television. Trump didn't know where Mexico is. Oh, they do. They do. It's very dangerous. The biggest threat I have to my administration is sarcasm, because they play it against me. When I show that he can't walk off, he can never find the entrances off a stage, like 1 here, 1 there, 2 here. We could jump off the front, I guess. And whenever I imitate him, I called my wife. She's great. Our wife, she's great. Our great first lady. I said, and she looked great the other night. She made that entrance. She made a lot of entrances. She's just something. But she walked in, but I told her the other night, I said, how good was I? How good? This was at a rally a couple of weeks ago. How good was I? Well, you were really good, but not great. Why? Well, it showed that you didn't know how to get off the stage. Well, I was imitating Biden. So what they do is they show the imitation of Biden. They said Trump didn't know how to get off the stage. That's our fake news. So we have to be very careful. So I haven't done it in about 3 weeks. I'll do it again, but maybe not right now. It's too Darling, you were great. I mean, I get these crowds, 50, 60, 70,000. In New Jersey, we're leading New Jersey by 4 points, by the way. We're leading Michigan by 6 points.
There's something about having that piece of paper. Some people think that's worth more than my skills. I've run this.
And a report just came out. Actually, we're leading everywhere and nationally, and we have to keep it that way. Got to make sure they don't cheat. Got to make sure they don't cheat. I took on China like no administration in history, bringing hundreds of billions of dollars pouring into our treasury when no other president had gotten 10 cents. You know, China never gave us 10 cents. I got hundreds of billions of dollars from China. And I got along very well with President Xi. He was a great guy. He wrote me a beautiful note the other day when he heard about what happened. And he wrote me a beautiful, most of the leaders do. You know, a lot of them didn't like what I was doing to them, but they also knew it was about time. The jig was up, right? It was about time. But they wrote me, almost all of them wrote me notes. It was nice. Now I have a good relationship with all of them. That's a good thing. You know, a lot of times the press would say, he gets along with Kim Jong-un, North Korea. He's a lot of nuclear weapons. I got along with him great. You were never in danger with me as your president. It's a good thing to get along, not a bad thing. I used to tell him, why don't you do something else? All he wants to do is buy nuclear weapons and make them. I said, just relax, chill. You got enough. You got so much nuclear weapons, so much. I said, just relax. Let's go to a baseball game. I'll show you what a baseball. We'll go watch the Yankees, or we'll come watch Michigan at its home opener. Okay, how about that? Are you going to have a good team this year, I think, right? I heard good. I heard good, but who the hell knows, right? Guy drops a pass, that's the end of that season. It's a risky business. I proudly imposed a 27.5 tariff on all Chinese auto imports to keep China and Chinese cars, keep them out of America. You don't sell a lot of Chinese cars in here because of what, and if you did, it'd be fewer cars that you made. We're going to bring back the auto industry because of, we're going to bring it back. We're going to have them. If they want to come in and sell us cars, they can, but they have to build plants here and they have to hire our workers, and that's fine, and nobody can say anything about it. Under the radical Democrat policies, the U.S. auto industry is being decimated. You know, we lost 64% of our industry over the years, 64%. We were a giant. And now a lot of them made in Mexico. Mexico's taken 35% of the auto industry. And we did something very strong. We did something very strong with Mexico. But you know, when I was building the wall, I said, you have to give us 28,000 soldiers. And they laughed at me. I hate when people laugh at me. I hate it. No, it's so disrespectful. They laughed at me. We won't do that. Why would we do that? I said, because you have to. We're building the wall. People are flowing in through your country. We want 28,000 soldiers to protect us while we're building the wall. They said, no, no, no. And then they said, after I said, look, here's the story. If you don't do it, we're going to charge you a 25% tariff on every car that you send into America. And then it's going to 50% next month. Then it's going to 75%. And then it's going to 100%, and then I'll stop. And the gentleman representing the president's a great guy. He's no longer president, but he's a great guy. He was a great guy, still is. But he said, I'd like to discuss this with the president. I said, 5 minutes, I got to go. I have something much more important to do. And he came back. He said, Mr. President, we would love to give you soldiers to protect your wall, free of charge, of course. That's how I got those great numbers on that beautiful, beautiful graph that we talk about. They gave us everything I wanted. I got everything from Mexico, and then this stupid person, low IQ, he's a low IQ individual. Take his IQ. I guarantee you it's in the low 50s or 60s. And he's negotiating against Putin, President Xi of China, Macron of France, very smart guy. I told him he was going to do something very bad to our country. I said, that's okay, you can do it, but I'm going to put a 100% tariff on all wines and champagnes that come in from France. He said, no, Donald, you cannot do that. I said, I'm doing it. Donald, you cannot do that. That's not fair. He was going to charge our companies, American companies, 25% for doing nothing, for being in France. Big deal, right? Big deal. So I said, okay, that's all right. I'm charging you 100% tariff. I gave it to all my people, Mnuchin, all smart guys. They came back, sir, they won't do it. They won't budge. I said, they'll budge. I called them up. And I talked to the president of France, Emmanuel Macron. He's a nice guy. I said, but he's, he likes France. I like the USA. Does that make sense? I said, Emmanuel, it's so nice to talk to you. I understand you're going to charge our companies 25%, Emmanuel. Yes, Donald. It was approved by whoever the hell approves the parliament. Whatever the hell they have over there, they were going to approve it. It's been fully approved. Yes, I'm so sorry. I said, well, that's okay. You can have it approved, but here's the story. Starting tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock, every bottle of wine and every bottle of champagne that's shipped into the United States is going to have a 100% tariff on it. No, you cannot do that. That is not fair. I said, not fair for you to charge our companies 25%. He said, you cannot do it. I said, I'm signing the papers now. I will call you right back. Calls me back. Donald, we would be delighted, Mr. President, to take that tax off. We have decided to take it off. It'll be off by tonight, sir. It'll be off by tonight. And it was off. You think Joe Biden does that? He doesn't know what the hell he's doing. Their policies are no good. Remember, whether it's Biden or anybody else, they want open borders. They want all the same stuff. So it's like, but he's in particular, he's pretty bad, I tell you. Can you imagine these killers, these are sharp. And the press gets angry. They said, is President Xi of China,
American Farmland Trust is introducing the first U.S. Farm Seal. So it's
is he a smart man? I said, no, he's a brilliant man. He controls 1.4 billion people with an iron fist. He makes guys like Biden look like babies. They don't even know whether they're coming or going. Yes, the next day, Trump calls him brilliant. How dare? No, okay. Let's say he's not a smart man. Okay, whatever makes you happy. No matter what you do. I say, he's a brilliant man. They went crazy because I called him brilliant. So I'm just going to have to say, he's okay. No, he's very smart. But, and you know what else? He's a fierce person. Do you understand that? Some of the people here know that, what this means, especially some of the women, right? They know better than the men about fierce. I know the women, they know better than the men. They're more fierce than the men. Oh, her. But no, he's a fierce individual. He's a fierce man. Can you imagine when he meets this guy? He thinks Trump is playing a joke on him. He actually thinks there's some kind of that I'm playing a joke. He doesn't believe what happened. He doesn't believe the last election. He thinks I'm playing a joke on him. But can you imagine President Xi, Putin, all of them? They're all smart, tough. They love their country, or they want to do well with their country, whatever it is, all ideology. But we have to have somebody that can protect us. And Orban was right. We have to have somebody that can protect us. Right now, we have really low IQ people in there. And the president in particular, he has about a 70 IQ, and he's going against 210. And it never works out. When I'm back in the White House, the way they will sell their product in America is to build it in America. They have to build it in America, and they have to use you people to build it. Thank you very much. It's very simple. We will build American, buy American, we're going to hire American, we're going to get it going, we're going to get the auto industry back. It's ridiculous. I will revoke China's most favored nations trade. You know, they have a most favored nations trade status. They've had it for years. We had it revoked, and then we had that stupid election, that ridiculous election that everybody knows was ridiculous. But I will revoke it. They have a trade where basically they're saying we're just beginning. They're not just beginning. They're teaching our people too much. I will pass the Trump Reciprocal Trade Act, meaning if China charges us a 100 or 200% tariff or tax, we will charge them a 200% tax. Very simple. It's called reciprocal. They charge, we charge. It sort of says, I shouldn't say this, because, you know, Franklin Graham, I told the story the other night, Franklin Graham, he's such a wonderful guy. Billy Graham was his father, the greatest. My father used to take me to Yankee Stadium to watch Billy Graham. The place was packed, and he would get up and he would rant and rave, and you left there and you believed that it was God, in fact, that helped me last week. You would believe it. You listened to Billy Graham. And Franklin Graham is right, probably, but he wrote me a beautiful letter. He says, President Trump, I watch your speeches and your rallies all the time. I love your storytelling. There's nobody that can do it like you, but please, you're hurting yourself very badly. Don't use foul language. It made me feel bad, actually, because I don't use much. And if it is foul, it's not really foul. You know, there's really foul, and then there's a little off. Like some people they don't like the word hell. That's a bad word. You know, I mean, that's not good. Or the word bullshit they don't like, so I won't use it. No, it's true. But it's more descriptive. There's just no word to sort of. But he said, so please, so I've been really good, and for the last 4 or 5 times I've really been good, but you know, you lose a little something. But reciprocal trade, it basically means you screw us and we'll screw you. It's very simple. And I can't describe it. And I don't think it's foul, but he's probably right. To further protect Michigan auto workers, I will end the Biden-Harris electric vehicle mandate on day 1. It's going to end on day 1. And I will immediately terminate the Green New scam, and we're going to use that money to build roads and highways and bridges. Under Biden and the radical left Democrats, inflation is wiping out our middle class. Groceries are up 57%. Gasoline is up 69%. Mortgage rates have quadrupled. They've gone up 3, 4, 5 times. And they never include that in their stats, you know. They never include those things. They never include mortgage rates. And you can't get the money anyway, so what really is the number? And since Democrats took over, total household costs have increased by an average of $28,000 per family. Think of that.
Why do you have Marilox if you don't get constipated? It's literally how I've made friends. And a couple other.
Get ready for an epic musical journey. Avatar, The Last Airbender in...
Under my leadership, we will throw out Bidenomics and we will replace it very simply with Maganomics. Maganomics. You know, I have to just interject, if you would turn off those cameras, because I don't want this. See the screen up there of me? That's very severe, that comb over. That's a severe sucker. What's with that one? It looks okay from the other side. But that is very severe. I apologize. Man, I looked up there, I said, whoa. Look at that. Wow, that's like a work of art. look at that one. Don't look. That one looks. To bring down the prices of all goods, we will end the Biden-Harris war on American energy, and we will drill, baby, drill. We're going to start that day one. Under the Trump administration, we had energy independence, and soon we will have energy dominant. We will be more dominant than any country by far, and we were. Just 4 years ago, we started off at number 4, we got to number 3, and then we had to beat Russia, we beat them, then we had to beat Saudi Arabia, we beat them, and we were like a rocket ship, and then we had this idiotic result. But we will be, and again, we have more, Anwar in Alaska, it's probably the biggest find anywhere in the world, the size of Saudi Arabia. Some people say, who knows what it is, but it's massive. Ronald Reagan tried to get it, couldn't get it, and that was easier in those days environmentally. They stop it with the environment. The environment is very important to me, and environmental is very important, but you can't use it to destroy a country. And they stopped it. They stopped it for years based on the environment. I got it approved. It was totally done. This is since Ronald Reagan, who worked so hard to get Anwar, he wanted to be able to drill in Alaska. Think of it as the size of Saudi Arabia, approximately, bigger than Texas, bigger than everything. We would have had something that nobody else even comes close to. And on the first week in office, his Department of the Interior person, who was just put in Department of Interior, she outlawed it. She said, we're not going to use it, stopped all work. They were ready to start drilling. It took them a while to get ready. They're ready to start drilling. The money would have been incredible. The prices were very high. We're the only country that stops drilling when the prices are at an all-time high. And we stopped drilling, but we'll get that back, and I'll get it back very